What's going on, all you neighbors out there? How are you guys?
Hey.
Welcome to another episode of Neighbors Don't Knock. Today, we are going to be talking about this craze that is apparently still going on of Stanley Cups.
Welcome to Neighbors Don't Knock, the show that brings you hilarious, unapologetic conversations only these neighbors can have. Join them and guests in their weekly mission to expand the neighborhood. Now, here's your hosts, Brian Chambers and Philip Goffrey.
What's going on, all you neighbors out there? Welcome to another episode of Neighbors Don't Knock.
We're back.
Yeah, that's right. We are back. Hello, if you ever this is your first time, your 100th time. Welcome to the show. I'm Brian, and this is Philip, and we are neighbors that get together for a great conversation in hopes of expanding our neighborhood or just, venting a little bit about what's going on. And just before we get started, I know we're going to be talking about Stanley Cups today, but...
Speaking of venting.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Speaking of venting, a little PSA for another episode of Neighbors Don't Care. If you live in an apartment complex or somewhere where there's a parking garage, whether it's work or a home or somewhere, do not put bird feed in the parking garage by the vehicles. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Stop it.
It was very hard for me not to spoil that. I had to let you get to that one because I knew you're going there. I knew it happened again, huh?
Yeah. Oh, it's
boy.
Continuously happening.
Oh,
I feel
boy.
like I'm working in the garage because I'm out there sweeping the crap. And there was like pigeons and stuff and on cars and things like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think I saw a rat the other day too.
Yeah. Well, if they're throwing bird seed, I guarantee you there are rats, opossums, raccoons, squirrels.
Yeah, we live in an area where there's a little bit of wildlife around.
Yeah, you might even get an armadillo up there. It might happen.
It was a keen sense of smell for that bird feed. Actually, no, they're probably not. They're probably they're probably loving it because I sweep all of it off the edge and it goes down to the ground. So they're probably just roaming around. So whoever's on the apartment on the first floor, it's probably got like wildlife all around.
I'm quite confident that in some countries on this planet that's still punishable by death, leaving bird seed by people's cars. I'm pretty sure, or at least a very, very long sentence in a very wet, dark place.
I do like the fact that you were telling me I should put a sign out there and tell them to stop it. I have a pellet gun.
Absolutely. Just say I'm coming with a pellet gun.
I would be curious of the response. But anyway,
He gets calls from PETA. We're probably getting calls from PETA.
I'm sure we will.
PETA,
yeah.
You can reach us at admin@neighborsdon'tknock.com. We'd be happy to take your comments, or you can just comment in the section below.
Yeah, welcome. So we are going to be.
I'm tagging PETA in this.
Yeah.
Hashtag bring it on.
Yeah, and just we'll put a disclaimer in the episode that no animals were harmed in the making of this episode. But anyway, so Philip, we are going to talk about the craze of Stanley Cups. I mean, have you heard about this craze?
Yeah, man. I mean, when you said that in the introduction, it makes my blood just kind of boil. This is the sort of thing, you know me. This is the sort of thing that just gets me
yeah, I know.
really, really going. I have heard of the Stanley Cup
I
craze.
thought it was actually going to fade out because when I saw all of the things happening and it became this little Christmas phenomenon and New Year's type of thing and the Valentine's Day cup that came out and everyone went just bonkers. I was like, you know what? It's gonna die out. It's but apparently not. It hasn't died quite yet.
Yeah.
It will eventually.
Yeah, I think you're still on the fade in of this one, not so much the fade out. We're on the upstroke.
And for those of you that watch and are like, what are Stanley Cups? We're not talking about the hockey Stanley Cup, which most people have to clarify. We're talking about a cup, a tumbler.
You know, Stanley's been
cup.
making tumblers for like 100 years. I'd be surprised if anybody listening doesn't know what a Stanley Cup is. They might not know about the craze, but not knowing what it is.
Yeah, as I say, if you don't know, I mean, some people don't realize, but if most people have seen a Stanley Cup, and actually, I went to the website to kind of check it out because I knew Stanley had been around for a long time. I didn't realize it had been 100 years. I mean, the company's been around for 100 years. And you can go to Stanley1913.com. You're welcome, Stanley. Even though you don't really need the help right now, marketing geniuses. But it's
you got one more person looking at your feed.
Yeah, exactly. Just a little bit about it. It says, loved by generations, the Stanley brand has a rich 100-plus year history. born from inventor William Stanley Jr., who forever changed the way hot drinks were consumed. In 1913, he fused vacuum insulation and the strength of steel in one portable bottle, inventing the all-steel vacuum bottle we know today and love. In the century since, his vacuum bottle evolved from concept to icon, has become an essential part of work days, road trips, and outdoor adventures. The Stanley brand has been part of countless adventures and even more shared memories. So anyway, that's a little bit about just a little brief thing about Stanley, but Stanley's not the first or the only one to have, a vacuum insulated, stainless steel. Oh God, there's one right here.
No, nor do they make the best one. No offense, Stanley, but I'm not saying anybody makes a better product than you, but there are certainly companies out there that make a product every bit as good as your products. Yeti.
Yeah.
And
Okay. Since you went there before me. Okay.
beat him to the punch.
You did beat me to the punch. Let me ask you this. Do you have a preference between Stanley or Yeti, or a preferred brand of tumbler that you use?
I do. I use Contigo. I don't use either Yeti or Stanley.
That's okay. I mean, there's so many out there.
Yeah, there are.
But
a lot of very, very good ones, in fact.
Let me ask you, what is the reason that you love that so much?
The reason why I love Contigo so much is because, much like your insulated mug right there, it's a much more manageable size for me. I'm not a huge fan of these gigantic Stanleys and these gigantic Yetis. I know they say, oh, it fits in your car's cup holder because the base is small enough.
Decided, but then it's like a massively
yeah. Clearly, I drive like a maniac, or you all drive like grandmothers, because if I put one of those things in my cup holder, it would be sailing across the car very, very quickly. That would just not work. So basically,
size for you. I mean, that's really
it's
about
size. It's size, and also I typically store hot beverages rather than cold beverages. And the Contigos, from what I've done my little web searching about, seem to be most people's preference for the hot beverages.
Okay. Swell. I use Swell.
Swell.
Yeah.
That's swell.
Swell.
That's nifty.
I think that's the name of the...
Neato.
To be honest, I think that's the name of the bottle. The Swell bottle or whatever. I'm pretty sure. I was gifted one, and it's just... Yeah, that it's... Yeah. So
most of our listeners are like, wait, Phil's bottle of choice is usually, Bombay Sapphire. I'm not sure I believe that it's Contigo.
Swell. It's eco-friendly, reusable, bottles and things like
that.
It's
but green.
They're all... Yeah, it's green, but they have different colors and stuff. But
Wow.
You said green, and I went to write the outside color, but it is a recyclable material.
I see where your head's at. You really care about the environment.
Good for the environment.
Yes, it's green. It matches my interior of my... Oh, yeah.
That green.
Hashtag Greenpeace.
That's right.
Greenpeace, you can reach us at admin@neighborsdon'tknock.com or in the comments below.
So, for me, it doesn't matter as long as it's keeping my drinks cold if I need it, or hot, whatever it needs. I just use it. I get gifted so many different tumblers from things. I'm kind of sick of them. I'm trying to get rid of them. And I've never had a Stanley, but I don't need one that is that big. Now, these Stanleys, the Stanleys that I'm seeing that people are going gaga over are like 64 ounces almost, or something, or at least 32, right? It's got to be at least 32 ounces.
Yeah, it's the size of a small water cooler.
Yeah, I mean, they're massive. I've seen people carrying them. It's the handle is it's huge. It's huge. It's like bringing a I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand.
I don't get it either, but I do like some of the things I've seen online to sort of rationalize it. Be like, oh, well, if you work in an office, you have to have one of these on your desk. It's like, are you serious? That's the size of your desk. You are literally you're slapping a handle onto a swimming pool and keeping it with you at your computer. You can get up and go to the water cooler. It's okay. In fact, take a break from your screen. It's all right.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, that was the whole reason to get up and go gossip in the office, right? Go to the water cooler,
office
right?
Space, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Go to the water cooler, right?
They're always around the water cooler.
Always around the water cooler. Now, there was a video that went, we're not going to show it, but there was a video where a car caught on fire and their Stanley Cup kept their drink cold. And, and all of a sudden it was just like, oh my gosh. It's... The marketing that Stanley took is really, in my opinion, what has changed the whole trajectory of this craze.
Yeah, so again, you're all adults watching our show and listening to our podcast. You can do your own little Googling about this, but in the little web searching that I've done, it seems that Terence Reilly, the Stanley CEO, is really sort of the genius behind this craze, right? So with the car thing, the last time I checked, that video of the Stanley mug surviving the car fire had gotten almost 100 million views online. I meant 100 million views. And
It kind of sucks. It's like I would be crying on that video if that was me.
yeah,
Like,
and
my car burnt, but I got my
Stanley in an absolutely master move of marketing. Kudos, where they're due. Props where props are due. Well done, Stanley. They bought that person a new car and did a video about it in response to it. So if you want a viral marketing campaign, there you go. Now, a little background. Terence Reilly was the CMO of Crocs. He was the dude that made Crocs cool, right? Yeah.
Sure. I mean,
yeah. So first of all, Mr. Reilly, I dislike you already.
Terence. Terence.
Crocs are the bane of my visual existence.
When you wear Crocs, say you look like an idiot.
But secondly,
Kudos that you could find something like that and make it cool.
yeah, he was
mean,
the mastermind behind making it cool. So
I give props to that. Not my flavor.
right, and now here he is at Stanley, and he's made something completely benign and an everyday utilitarian device or object, I should say.
It's been around for 100
yeah,
years.
consumer object, seemingly very, very cool. So again, props are due. Well done.
Yeah, and that we wanted to dive a little deeper into seeing how this craze is affecting everybody, because we've seen videos on this, and I know, and we are just thinking it was going to go away, but there's been developments and
Problems.
problems.
There've been some problems.
So, some of you are not playing well with others out there for your Stanley Cup,
And that's shocking to us.
yeah. Is it really? But these cups are going so fast off the shelves. I mean, people are. It's like you would have thought Black Friday from back in the day, the original when Black Friday people went absolutely bonkers. They're running through stores. They're waiting overnight, as if they get great concert tickets.
Yeah, this is like the first 3 iPhone models, right? Where people are camping out.
Yeah.
There's lines around the Apple store around the corner. It's bizarre stuff. And I
Then they
didn't
open the
understand
doors
that.
and bull rush in. And,
Yeah, I didn't understand that then. I don't understand this now. But to your point, we have a video here. Evidently, this flying off the shelves situation has been happening at Targets around the country because
Targets and Walmart specifically, and then of course a lot of Starbucks.
Yeah. And it seems that Stanley, and very brilliant marketing, teams up with these stores and they do these limited edition runs of their mugs now. And I guess the big craze for the Target one was the Galentine line. Is that right?
It's called Galentine, and it had, I think the only difference from a regular Stanley or the normal Stanley Cup was a little heart on it or something, and it was apparently it came in red and pink colors or something like that. I think that was honestly, from what I've seen and heard. Correct me, leave a comment below if I'm wrong, but I believe that was the reason. That was the reason that it was such a special.
So on your green swell, if they wanted to fly off the shelves, they should put a middle finger on it, like a little limited edition. It's the FU Greenpeace edition.
Yeah. I don't know if that would be on par for them for their brand.
Easy being green. So let's take a look at this video because I'm quite curious how our viewers will respond to seeing this mob scene at Target. Check this out.
I mean, you can hear them saying, "How many did you get?"
Listen to them clicking and clacking as they're flying off the shelf. It's hysterical.
You guys are limit 2.
They had to say it was a limited 2. Sold out in less than 4 minutes.
There you go.
They even put a sign up. There's a limit of 2.
I like it.
Could the please tell the customers they're limited to 2 Galentine Stanley mugs per visit? Thank you.
What we didn't see from the first part of the video or one of the other videos was there were store employees that were filming the people coming in, and they were running and knocking other people over.
Yeah. So okay.
Guys, it's a cup.
PSA.
It's a $45 cup.
Yep. Yeah. Little neighbors don't knock PSA. I know we do these often, but this is from my heart to yours. If the store employee breaks out their phone and they are filming you doing something, it's because you look like a jackass and you are going to be online for the rest of time.
Yeah, right.
Stop what you're doing. Assess your life choices. Seriously, I wish this for you for a better existence. Just if you see that, oh, hey, look at that guy.
Yeah.
Something's going down. Something is going down. That's not right.
Where have we have gotten to the point in today's world that we are pushing people over for cups. For cups. We're knocking people over for cups.
Yeah. In Yesterworld,
to hold liquids. You could find almost anything to hold the liquid. You know, there
indeed. In Yesterworld, that happened in bread lines when you were starving. Today, it's for
like
the Galentine edition.
You don't get the liquid. The liquid doesn't come in there. The life force doesn't. It's not like the fountain of youth if you get this.
All right.
You know?
So speaking of the Galentine edition, speaking of Starbucks is playing this.
And people
pushing each other over.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know.
There's an interesting video that's been surfacing online. This one comes from TMZ's TikTok feed. And evidently, this is a dude who tried to jump a counter at a Starbucks and grab an entire stock box of these things before they put them out.
Well, now we're not gonna. Part of the video we're gonna show. We're not gonna show where he jumped the counter, but leading up to this, people were literally in line around the store, like sitting there waiting, and they were apparently cutting in line. And there was more than just him. I think he had somebody with him or something like that.
This one's one of my favorites too.
And he just went for it.
Yeah, so we're watching the dude's attempted escape from the scene of the crime here, and it is. Well, I'll let you decide.
Yeah. He's not green. Knocking the recycle bin over.
Loser. Get him!
Didn't play football in high school, that's for sure.
Stop him! Stop him! Yeah, stop him! I didn't touch him. Stop him! Stop her!
Okay. So my two favorite parts are the attempted football, check where he just kind of like bounces off a dude half his size, like, brother, go low, go hard. Okay. Second,
lay up that Taco Bell, buddy.
The woman filming it just, oh, God bless you. I love it. Stop him. Stop. I didn't touch him.
It's just like, in case I'm filming, just in case you sue.
Hey.
Although, kudos to her because
smart woman.
You never know. These days, people are getting away with a lot of crap.
Yeah.
But you also heard her say, stop her. So there was another person involved that was like trying to like as he's getting tackled, I think the girl that was with him was trying to rip stuff out of people's hands too, like in the chaos.
Yes, this is 2024. It is possible that she was also trying to cover all of her pronouns so that she didn't get any civil liability that way.
Right.
But yes, no, I do think there were two people in the video, and I used to work in retail, and I can tell you she was smart to be on video saying I didn't touch him because there will be lawsuits.
Smart. That is smart. Okay, I got to ask you this though. What do you think? I mean, do you really think that there's going to be anybody that's going to be prosecuted for things like this?
On which side?
I mean, the fact is, like, that video went on for a long time, and they actually, I think TikTok actually took their videos down or something at one point, or I don't know what it was, but it took the police a while to get there, according to this incident. It was apparently pretty crazy, at least that specific one. But I still haven't heard anything about a follow-up about what happened with someone who, I mean, you literally hopped a counter, pretty much assaulted a Starbucks employee and attempted theft.
Yeah,
even though they were stopped. I mean, what they apparently came back in too. That also, like, that baffles me more than anything. You attempted a crime, you didn't get away with it. You actually could have just walked away, but no. You wanted to come back. Was the Stanley Cup that valuable?
I'm not. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that I'm not familiar enough with the story to know which state that took place in. So I don't have an opinion on whether or not that person will actually be prosecuted for the crime. Lots of states right now have passed laws that basically make it, shame on you, finger wag for stealing below a certain dollar of amount of goods, right?
But so, I think that that's been kind of a small, not to get too much on a tangent on this, but it's been kind of a small debate going on about, the rise of crime because you want, I don't know what this soft on, it feels like there's a lot of soft on crime right now and people are kind of being like, whoa, what's going on? You see all these Walgreens and Targets and other places that now, especially in San Francisco and other places, that now everything is behind glass and doors. I mean, people just walk in and take stuff, and then the employees are not allowed to stop them. Like they come in with like garbage bags. It's like they're not even scared about it. I mean, and you know what shocks me? I've seen a ton of videos where there were people that came into. There's one that I saw that they came into a Nike store, like with like 5 or 6 people, just walked in with garbage bags and just started taking stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Everywhere.
It's happened to Apple stores,
and then they just walk out. Watching this video, he hopped the counter, grabbed it, and was form tackled by like 5 people because it was a Stanley Cup. Like, had that been a pair of Nikes, do you think anyone would like stopped him? I mean, that's why this craze with the Stanley Cups is so ridiculous, and people are taking them and they're trying to resell them, and that's where I start having the biggest problem because they're marking these prices up. Now, some people are doing other things to them, but they can't. I guess they can't really resell them, but what they can do is they can raffle them. And so you pay for a raffle. And so people are like for like one Stanley, people buy in for a raffle and then it gets, sold for that.
What is this,
whatever
Ferrari with your allocation for your brand new vehicle? This is ridiculous.
I don't know, but we do have another clip. This woman, I guess, and her mom, decided that they were going to bedazzle a Stanley Cup up, and it was very interesting how she, and this is a little bit goes back to our other episode of girl math, because her pricing, we did a little bit of fact checking on some of her pricing. So yeah.
This is also a TikTok user. This comes from at BossUpCosmetics on TikTok, and kudos to her and her mom for being quite the entrepreneurs. Let's have a look.
These cups are worth almost $300. Let's break down the price. A blinged out Stanley with glass rhinestones is around $285. It takes my mom over 16 hours to hand place over 3,000 rhinestones on the cup. Minimum wage here in Texas is $7.25. The actual rhinestone itself costs around $90 to $100 for each cup. The glue that we use is around $30 to $40. And the price of the Stanley itself is around $50. I hope this gave you a little bit of an understanding of the price point of this product and why they're priced the way they are.
Okay, so go back to that pricing. Kudos for the artwork and all that, right? She's basically saying that they're asking what they're selling them for $285 or $306. She says total, I guess. So I looked up, okay, because it says 16 hours to finish, okay, and tedious work and artistic stuff takes time. I trust me, I get that. Now you have the minimum wage on there basically for that is they're ranking $116 for, for 16 hours. Okay, I don't really honestly have an issue with that.
Yeah, and come on, home state of Texas, let's get that minimum wage up a little bit. $7.25.
I know, right? Okay, but the rhinestones, she says between $90 and $100. So I went and checked out several different brands of rhinestones, and at wholesale, for a pack of 1,440 rhinestones, glass rhinestones.
I think 1,440 will cover one of these Stanley. They are large
she
cups.
Said 3,000. She said 3,000 on there. So
I mean,
two packets, but they're about $640 a pack. So you're talking about maybe $15 per cup. So I wonder. I mean, if she's talking about doing multiple cups.
Yeah,
I mean that's
a little shy of the $90 to $100 mark.
It's
right there.
very shy of the $90 to $100. So even if you do, let's say, you're gonna do. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt. We'll round up at $15.
Yeah, she's a Texan
for a rhinestone.
We'll give her the benefit of the doubt. She's in a good state.
And how many cups did it look like she was doing? Let's say 8 cups.
Well,
okay?
16 hours, call it 1 cup a day if you're working 8-hour days.
Okay. So $15, and let's just say 5 cups, right? So it's about $75 for 5 cups. So I'm assuming that
that's a week's worth of work.
Yeah,
right there.
So I'm assuming that she's talking about all of them at that point, because glue. She was saying. I looked up glue as well because I was like, the price of glue. What the hell? You can get multiple tubes. for the glue that you need for rhinestones and stuff for $7 for like 4 or 5 tubes.
Again,
so I don't
the
know where
cups are large.
I don't know where 30 to 40, even if you're doing the amount of cups that it looked like they were doing, if we say the 5 cups with all those rhinestones, 30, I don't know how much glue they're using, but $30 to $40 is a little bit much because you could get 6 to 12 tubes for less than $30 to $40. And the Stanley Cups are not about $50. They're $45 with tax, so they're under $50. So she's just rounding up. So I see where the pricing comes in. But again, why would someone want to spend $300 on a cup? I mean, you can go out and get this. I mean, you literally, guys, you can go get a thing of glue, $7. 2 things of rhinestone, $12. Right there, you're at $20. Your mug cost $45, and then you just put in the time, and right there, you've spent less than $75 to bedazzle your own cup versus having somebody else do it.
Well, I can tell you why. Because let's take a look at this lovely young YouTuber. She looks like she may be high school-ish age, has quite a large following.
Yeah.
This comes from Paisley Blake on YouTube reacting to her Stanley Cup arriving in the mail.
You guys, guess what just arrived at my door after a month and a half of waiting. So this is my Stanley that I ordered off of Amazon in like July, and it just got here today. So I'm gonna cut it open. I love it so much already. It's so pretty.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. It's so pretty. It's
Right.
Oh.
Right. So why are people spending $300 to have somebody, custom bedazzle their Stanley Cup? Well, it's because of, oh my God, my Stanley Cup arrived. I'm so excited.
and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Paisley. You're allowed to be happy about your Stanley Cup.
We're so happy for you.
You really are.
Oh my God.
You really are. But if your level of excitement is like this for a cup,
It's just, she waited since July.
You may have peaked already at your young age.
July.
July.
I don't know if she's peaked or not. She has quite the following. Congratulations to you for being a great YouTuber and knowing your audience. But Brian,
okay, let's quit peddling that.
Hey, look,
peddling her.
Kudos, props where props are due.
Hey,
the dude made
props on your channel,
popular, okay? And I'm giving him props. She's like half those sins.
That's
right?
true, but oh my gosh,
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Oh my gosh, it's on my face. I love it so much. All right,
so it turns out the kids are being bullied in school over these things. We actually had a meeting.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, we had a meeting recently with some parents that were talking about this, and it's a huge problem here in Houston in some of the public schools, both junior high and high school. Kids are being practically tortured verbally and sometimes physically if they bring one that's not a Stanley Cup.
Neighbors Don't Knock is produced by C&G Communications. C&G specializes in small batch voiceover and video production for commercial media, podcasting, radio, and more.
Combining years of experience in podcasting, acting, and sales, C&G offers big media products at small business prices.
That's right. To learn more, visit their Facebook page or email them directly at admin@cngcommunications.com.
I fail to see this craze. I don't think it's going to go away for a while, to be honest. I think we're seeing this as going to be one of those maybe next year when we're having talking at New Year's. You and I are going to be like talking about this Stanley thing still. I feel like this is at least a 2024 thing.
Well, and you talk about the adults driving the whole craze, and maybe to your point, that's what keeps it going a little bit longer. But you also asked earlier, will these people be prosecuted? Well, there is an example of a recent woman who was caught with a bunch of these things, and I do believe she is being prosecuted, and we have that clip for you as well.
The craze for Stanley stainless steel drinking cups reached new levels last week when a woman accused of stealing 65 of them from a Northern California store. The price tag? Almost $2,500. Store employees say a woman loaded up her shopping cart with cups and left the store without paying for them. Police eventually did catch up with the woman and took her into custody. Stanley Cups have become highly sought after in recent months, thanks in part to the popularity on social media.
Now, that clip came from the Today Show, just to give credit where credit is
Yeah.
due. But wow. So
I mean, we saw an article. I did see the article on that too, but I didn't see the news deal. But I mean, you're looking at that. That's they said $2,500.
Yeah, for about 65 of
For
them.
it was about 65, so that works. Okay. Yeah, because about $45, right? So yeah, so it's
Throw in tax?
Yeah, throw in tax. I mean, give or take, that was about right. But I mean,
she also screwed up because if she had bedazzled them, they'd be worth so much more. I think what happened is she ran out of room in the trunk for glue and rhinestones.
Then you'd need a little Stanley sweatshop, just to be putting them all.
She must have been in California. Us Texans, we're more enterprising than that. We'll turn a buck.
That's right. That's right. Actually, look, kudos to you, Texas. Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. I hope they get prosecuted, but also the price you were talking about earlier, certain things have to be above a certain price. At that point, but that's just ridiculous. I mean, can you imagine the cop?
35 of them.
Yeah, can you imagine the cop like pulling you over and just like seeing like, oh, what do we got here?
I can actually. I can imagine the cop going, one for you, one for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say
we caught her with 64 of them.
Getting paid off under the table with Stanley Cups.
I thought there were 65, Sarge. No, we miscounted.
You must have miscounted, right?
Yeah.
What are you in for?
Honey,
Stanley Cups.
I have something for you. Oh my God, my Stanley Cup, Dad! You're amazing.
Oh my word. Okay, so we look at this craze. It's gone on. I've seen videos and things of kids like getting disappointed when they get any other tumbler that's not a Stanley, and then when they get a Stanley, they like freak out like it was the best thing ever. And some of the actually. If I had a child, it would almost make me want to smack my kid. If I gave them a gift and they were like, no, take it back. It's not a Stanley. I'd be like, what is wrong with you? That steams me a little bit. But this craze to you guys, Stanley, is it something that you have? What makes the Stanley Cup so special to all of you? Or if you have one, I don't own one. Do I need to get one to test this theory out? I mean, do I need to go spend $45 to go test this out? I mean, if you guys want
you too much, I hope you don't.
I mean, if our listeners really want that, leave a comment below. Maybe we might do that. Just go get one and test it out for a week.
You're gonna go risk life and limb. Get out there. Better put on some pads, brother. Yeah.
I'll walk in with like a football helmet.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir. You can't wear that.
Remember, if he checks you first, it's self-defense when you start swinging.
I didn't touch him. I didn't touch him. But anyway, I posed the question to you guys. What do you guys think of this phenomenon? Do you think it's going to last? Philip's kind of on the short term for this. I'm more on the long term, I guess. But, is it really worth all this pain and suffering and everything just to say you have a Stanley Cup? And it's a cup, guys. And why?
Yeah, it is scary stuff. And if you are a parent like I am, I have the same wish for you that I would have for myself. And that is, I wish you and your children have the conversation. Let them know these things are tools. It is okay to have a cool looking tool, to have a pretty tool, but they are still tools in the end, and they should be treated as such. They're not to be coveted.
Yeah, and no one should be being bullied for a cup. For a cup. Anyway, so let us know. Leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode when we drop new content. Also, click that little notification bell. That way you, of course, are in the know of when we drop new content. We drop new episodes weekly, so make sure that you guys subscribe and really helps us out here on the channel. We have some great episodes coming up. We are going to be on location for our next episode, so you're going to want to check that out and tune in. But I think it's time for us to get out of here.
I do
Philip,
too.
I would appreciate you letting me drop by.
Hey, thanks for coming by, buddy. Appreciate it. My door's always open to you.
Absolutely. Wherever you get your podcast, you can find Neighbors Don't Knock. But like I said, hit that subscribe button. So right here on YouTube. But we'll catch you guys next week with regular cups.
They're swell.
Peace.
Out.